friends and old friends, welcome to Julie's Ordeal show, and my name is Juliet. Today I'm joined by a very brilliant, he's also a medical personnel. Besides being a medical personnel, he's also a politician, and that's why Julie's Ordeal is here to share with you people's life stories, to share with you their life, how they've been thriving from the time they grew up. And besides that, if you've not yet subscribed, please make it a point to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, that is Juliet Amusugut. Share and leave a comment below. And I am so privileged to welcome the Honorable here in the show. And I don't want to be the one to introduce him. I want him to be the one to introduce himself, because he's a very important person in a particular community, not only Teso, but also outside Teso. Honorable, you're welcome to the show.
I thank you so much.
Yeah. It's been like a very long time. The last time I saw you was during politics.
All the time is politics time.
No, I think that was serious political time. That was a serious political time.
Yeah,
Otherwise, how are you?
I'm well. I'm well. I'm living my life normally, like the rest of the people who live a happy life.
Yeah.
I am happy with myself. I am managing myself well.
And I know you will always manage yourself. Thank you for joining me on Julie's Ordeal show. Now, a lot of people do not know who this brilliant politician, medical personnel is. I just want you to take a moment and let the people know who you are, who is Honorable Daniel Eigu. Where does he come from? Which schools did he go to?
My name is Daniel Eigu. As Juliet has put it, on the evening of 17th December 1981, I was born.
You're old.
Very old.
You are.
To have seen so many things in
Sure.
the political life and the country at large. I was born to a gentleman called Joseph and my mother Selina Areto, both of Kamuda sub-county here in Soroti district. I think I was born when my father wasn't home because of work.
Oh.
Immediately I was born, a few months later, I was shipped to Gulu, where I lived my early life for I think 4 years or so, in a Swa ranch, where my father was a cashier. And I enjoyed his company once in a while in the morning hours. I walked with him to office. And oh wow, it was fun.
As a young boy?
As a young boy. I was the fifth born. My follower, a girl, was born in 1983. Unfortunately, she passed on 2 years later.
Sorry.
Another one was born in 1986. That one is alive up to now. We were 7. Of course, we lost that girl. We lost our firstborn. Our firstborn was the first to join active politics in our family. The former LC3 chairperson for Kamuda, Honorable Julius Oyuru, was our firstborn. Unfortunately, we lost him in an accident in 2014.
Okay.
Our thirdborn died much earlier, I think in the mid-90s. We are now, I think, 3 left. Our second-born, who is now, we are 4 left. The second-born is there. The fourth-born is there. I am alive, and our last-born is also there. And yes, school. I tried to join nursery or pre-primary while in Swa ranch, but we didn't live there for much longer after 1984. We had to relocate to Soroti and direct to the village, where there was no opportunity for primary education.
Yeah, sure.
I later joined primary 1 in 1986, but God forbid, it was just for a few days, and there was turmoil.
Insurgency.
But before the insurgency, of course, the NRA government came in Feb, and there was a bit of a shake-up. And then I stayed home a bit. Insurgency of cattle restoring came in, and then after the cattle restoring, rebellion began.
Okay.
Now you know we had to lose years in education at that time. I later on went back to school in 1989 in a Minute Primary School, where I later sat my PLE in 1995. For A-level, I studied in 2 schools. I was in Mbale Progressive, later completing at in Kampala when I joined the Highway College Makerere. And after that, of course, I joined the only dental school in the country at that time, Mulago Dental School, graduating in 2007.
And that means I can call you Dr. Daniel Eigu, right?
Whatever I'm called.
Yeah.
I of course, after that, in 2008, I went to study bachelor's in international business. And I completed in 2011. But that is about the schools I attended.
That you attended.
Yes.
So that has been, despite the insurgency, you managed to come out and reach the level that you are right now. I believe it was really a very difficult moment. I want you to try and give us the background, the family background. How were you people growing up as children? I know you've spoken of the late, but I believe at one point of time you were together. How was it growing up as a child?
Oh, it was fun. Our parents loved us, and they emphasized to us how they loved all of us equally. There was nothing like loving the other more than this one. But of course, I think they tended to give a lot of attention to the younger ones.
Yeah, including you.
Of course.
Yeah.
I am the last born boy.
Sure. I know how last borns are always treated.
But of course the love spread across. I think the reason they gave a lot of attention to the younger ones was because the younger ones were more vulnerable. The mature ones were given opportunity to begin to become independent themselves. And but that was just about how our family was. But unfortunately, of course, we lost our father much earlier in 1991.
Sorry.
That's when we lost our father. We were left with our mother. Our elder siblings found it a challenge to continue with studies, and many of them actually dropped and could not continue with the studies. The people who continued with studies mostly were myself and our younger sister, because our mother had to now work much harder to ensure we go to school. You know how we used to come to town, Soroti town, with millet, with sorghum, very early in the morning, on foot. Of course, we walked from Kamuda, a distance of maybe about 15 kilometers. Every morning, whenever our mother had a stock of produce to come and sell in town. And that is how we would also be able to acquire ourselves a school uniform and a few scholastic material. That was about our life at that time. Our studies, I mean, there were challenges. I remember the only thing I was interested in was funny, by the way. I was like, I need to go beyond the primary level so that I can be a secretary at the LC1 committee. Really funny.
Oh, as a child, that was
as a child, of course, you see, that is what I admired at that time. Oh, the pride I would really carry when I am the one to write whenever minutes are being taken in a council meeting of LC1 or local council 1. That was the dream at that time. You know, I would admire and how proud those guys were. You know how they would be in a drinking place and they're like, you have not gone to school. That is why I'm the one who writes letters for people. I was like, wow, why can't I be the one? But of course, once I joined Senior 1, we began to open our minds.
Yes.
You are interacting with people from different families. I rode a bicycle from Kamuda to school in town here. For a whole year. For a whole year riding a bicycle. We used to study in the afternoons after the senior 3s and senior 4s had finished their lessons in the morning. They had to leave room for senior 1 and senior 2. I would ride a bicycle from Kamuda to Nakatunya, where the school was located, and that Soroti Lira Road was Maram. Now you can imagine what we went through. The moment you reach Odokomit, the other trading center 5 kilometers away from town, you would hear a gateway bus hooting from a distance, and you know you are in trouble. You have already sweated, you're perspiring, and there is a bus coming that is going to splash dust on you.
Sure.
And yeah, but we would then have to manage like that for a full year. Then I came to live with a cousin in town. And then in after senior 2, I almost dropped out because my mom had run out of money. Fortunately, Soroti Central SS at that time had a bursary that they would give. You know how hard I worked, that from the time I joined senior 1, I topped my class. And so it was difficult for them to deny me a bursary. Then from senior 3 to senior 4, senior 3 and senior 4 I studied for free. I mean free of paying tuition and the rest of those. I would only have to get requirements for myself. And fortunately enough, also a gentleman who lived in our home became a night guard at the home of some expatriates who lived in senior quarters. And at the end of each term, I would pass by for him to take me on his bicycle back. And these whites were interested in seeing how I performed. So each time they would be very impressed. So they got to learn that I was struggling with issues of where to reside and all that. They invited me into their family, and I was there for 2 years, senior 3 and senior 4. Wow.
You lived with the whites?
Yes. And things were sweet at that time. You know, from riding a bicycle all that distance to school, now I was given a self-contained room.
That was a miracle.
I was able to read at night. You know how it was difficult to read back at home, the other side. But this time I had a self-contained room. There was electricity, there was running water, there was a sweet bed. So that is how I managed my O-level. When I went to senior 5, these whites left around 2000. There was a bit of a struggle, of course. At the end of the term, you're the one they almost deny exams, but you know you would plead with the administration to allow you sit exams. You know, you find ways and convince the head teacher, then they allow you to sit exams. But still, you excel and it impresses them. Then I left and went to Kampala, where my aunt lived with her husband. The husband worked with the Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. So I went to live in the information quarters in Nakasero. Of course, you know, also now, from the village to live in Nakasero. A sweet place, a top, a high-level place in the capital city.
Yes.
So I was interacting with children of the top families in the country, and my connections began to tick. And my network in Kampala began to tick, and so life became like that. And until I completed my senior 6.
Yes.
So it was a bit of challenge again, of course, when I went to dental school, still of tuition. Every end of the semester, you plead. I have learned to be one of the greatest shock absorbers in life because of those experiences.
From childhood?
From childhood, those struggles have shaped who I am. Each time something discouraging or something difficult comes across, I look at it as an opportunity to exhibit the true me, what I am able to accomplish. So today in life, I look at challenges, and sometimes I even want to invite a challenge.
Because you want to challenge.
I am capable of maneuvering and squeezing myself through the challenge, and I know on the other side of the challenge there is something sweet, or maybe the accomplishment is so relieving. Yeah, but we loved each other, as I said earlier. We loved each other as children. We supported each other at all times until those that departed. For us who have remained alive, still love each other, we still support each other so much.
Sure. That is quite an emotional kind of story there. Sometimes in life we start thinking otherwise, And from being in the dental school and then coming out as a dentist, you decided to think of doing politics as well, following politics. I just want to know when your political journey came through connecting from the dental school to the political school, just in the middle there.
Through those struggles in school, I was a very exciting person at school, sort of a celebrity at school. And I was given responsibilities by both teachers and students. They entrusted me with the positions of leadership throughout my time in the different schools that I attended. In dental school, I was the president of Dental Students Association in the country. And so, yes, the connections were also there. But when I left school, there was a problem in northern Uganda, and I decided that I would have a team go with me to work on patients in the IDP camps in northern Uganda. I had different job offers, but I chose to go private for a while doing charity work in the camps, in the IDP camps in northern Uganda.
That was during
from 2008.
LRA.
Yes, the LRA insurgency,
Yes.
of course, that pushed people to the IDP camps. I was one of the first dentists to actually have outreach camps in the IDP camps in northern Uganda.
Wow.
I remember colleagues of mine refused to go with me. I had only one colleague who now works in western Uganda. Then we had to pick final year students to go with us to the IDP camps. Sometimes we slept in IDP camps very far away from Guru town. I remember one evening, as they were showing us the rooms where we would sleep in a health center they said that particular room is where Joseph Kony used to sleep. And we had this fun of wanting to be the one sleeping where the tyrant used to sleep. And
you have that pride.
So we spent every nights in those IDP camps. When I got back to Kampala, of course, I continued with private practice in various capacities. Then in 2011, I wanted to be part of the team that would provide solutions to the challenges we have in our country. I thought of coming to join politics in 2011. I came to Kamuda, I think in 2015 around June, and declared my candidature for the sub-county seat.
Sure.
And still again a lot of pressure from friends and colleagues in Kampala. You are not serious. How can you leave this kind of practice to go and just become a local chairperson at the sub-county level? I said I am going to offer leadership for 5 years, and that's what I told voters, for 5 years. If I choose to want to continue with politics, I will go to a different level.
Sure.
Then in 2014, when I lost my brother who was the sub-county chairperson, people in the community, many of them started convincing me, started putting me on pressure to come and offer leadership. And I said the interim leadership for the sub-county should be a responsibility of the council that has been left behind by my brother.
Sure.
We will discuss this when 2016 comes. And then in 2015, I made a decision to leave my family in Kampala and come and join this opportunity to see what I can do. And people trusted me and gave me the vote. I became the sub-county chairperson of Kamuda 2016-2021. But of course, 2018, I began showing interest in the district seat. I wanted a district seat.
You wanted to be the chairperson?
The chairperson of the district.
Yes.
And later on, of course, Parliament divided our constituency. Parliament created Soroti City, and there was that time that it came and everybody had to make rash decisions. Just about a few months to nominations.
Sure.
My party had to, of course, look at me and gave me the flag to contest for the position of Member of Parliament for Soroti County.
And that is under which party?
The Forum for Democratic Change.
The FDC, yes.
Yes. Where, of course, we ran a campaign for about 2 months. I won that election.
You did?
I won that election after the count.
You're sure about that?
I am very certain because after counting the votes, I won the elections. During the declaration, another person won.
That was contradicting. That was contradicting. Yes.
I won after the count, another person won during the declaration. That is it.
And those are two different things.
Completely.
And what makes you think you won that election?
Votes are counted.
I know.
And once they are counted, you keep tallying the figures. Once you tally and you have a higher vote, you have won. But you are not yet a member of parliament elect until the declaration. It is the returning officer who has the mandate to declare who is the leader elect. And so, a different person was declared.
At that particular point whereby a different person was declared, and yet you knew that this is mine, tell me the feeling that came through there. How were you feeling at that particular point? Because I know you are at the tally center and you know very well that tomorrow I'm going to be the next member of parliament of this place.
Of course.
What was your feeling, Honorable Eigu?
I told you earlier, you see, I move when I do not turn the coin up or down. I move with the coin in the middle. Because for me, I have lived and realized that in life, until the last minute, you can't be sure. And so I am always prepared for the best and for the worst. I am a good shock absorber.
You did.
The moment this gentleman was declared, I said to myself, you're good at managing yourself. Manage yourself now. I don't need to explode. I only need to stay focused and remain sober and remain calm. It is unfortunate that when you rig an election, you would have rigged the candidate out, but you have stolen votes over the owners of those votes. The true owners of the votes are the voters. I am just the beneficiary of their votes.
They entrusted you with their votes.
And so the owners of the votes took it up upon themselves to react. I had to manage them. Then came a point where there was a team that says, let's go to court.
Exactly.
There is a team that says, let's do this. There is a team that is rioting the other side. Many of my supporters were, of course, arrested during that time and taken to prison. We thank God that various efforts ensured they were released and they are home. But I chose to come down and say, I'm not going to pursue anything. I told this gentleman when I met him at a social function, I said, you go to parliament.
That's what you said.
Go to parliament. You're going to leave me with the owners of the votes behind. Go to parliament. Stay there for 5 years. But just know you've entered parliament through the window and you have sat on my chair. But for 5 years, you'll come back and get me here. And indeed, I have not left home. I do not have any office, any leadership office at the moment, apart from, of course, the one of the party. But I am not in any elective position through the structures of government. I am not, but I've chosen to stay home. My family is in Kampala. I would probably have said, I give up on these things, let me go and live with my family. But that is a sacrifice that I and my family have accepted. I live in Kampala where my wife works, where our children study. I am in Soroti and I am managing.
It has been a very terrible situation. Tell me the kind of support you got from your family members as well as the people around you, the voters themselves.
A lot. I remember sometimes some churches would invite me to pray with them and in the middle of the church they have put your chair and people are making contributions for you. They say you have lost, you go home, go and take some tea in the middle of a church. And sometimes I'm like, do I accept this or what do I do? But I said, fine, this is church. These people have willingly from the bottom of their hearts decided that they should give me something to support myself. And you walk, of course, with your head high up. You know that I have support.
Was that sympathy or love to you? What was that?
I am very certain it was love, because You know how you win in every polling station in a sub-county. I don't think that is sympathy. I think that is love. I think that is trust. I think that is hope that people have on you. And you see, the true bitterness after that declaration was with the people, was with the voters. I know of families where people had no appetite for a whole week. People couldn't eat. I know of people who got so confused, people got so sick. People who got so bitter. I know, and they are bitter up to today.
Sure.
Because what they had held in their hands was grabbed. But I'm well with my family members. They understood my position and they're okay with it. And we have hope. We know that the future is wide open. We know that it is upon us to shape the future. It is upon us to make sure we put in place necessary preparations for whatever we want to engage ourselves in future, politically or otherwise.
Given the situation that you went through, the situation within that electoral time, would you say that you still have hopes of coming back and then contest, and then the door opens for you? Is there that hope again?
If I had been beaten in that election, I would never have contested again. I won that election and I am going to defend the win in 2026. I am certain that God willing, that He gives me the health, I continue to be as healthy as I am today. I will be on the ballot in 2026 to reclaim the victory that was robbed. And this time, of course, we'll have a lot of precaution to make sure what happened in the 2021 elections do not happen again. True.
You're determined.
Very much.
Your determination
Always.
is stronger.
Always.
Now, politics in Uganda has been viewed as a very serious situation. The politics in Uganda, a number of Ugandans talk about it. I want to know from you, as a politician, what do you make of Uganda's politics as per today?
One thing I want to let people know, in 2005 we made a decision as a country to go into multi-party politics. But we invited multi-partyism in a non-democratic environment. All the principles of democracy in Uganda, some of them have been killed, some of them are struggling. So the principles of democracy here that have not been touched are under threat. Because a democratic environment has no involvement of forces, of military forces in the political game. In a democratic environment where the executive has taken over the role of judiciary, you know that there is no democracy, there is no politics there. The politics is not balanced. Because you do not have a judiciary. If you lost an election or if you were rigged in an election, where you're running with your petition is a compromised judiciary. You have a situation where civil society organizations that should be advocates and the forces that ensure the democratic environment is level and neutral are crippled. Several limitations are in play to limit the activities of civil society organizations. You've heard about break-ins into the offices of civil society organizations that are critical of the regime, underhand tactics. They break into those offices, carry sensitive information, computers, and various records and reports. You have now heard that in this country, United Nations Human Rights Office has been closed. Several of them, and some of them that are still a bit active, have been warned several times. So you ask yourself, the politics in this country, is it safe? Opposition leaders have been arrested. I personally have been arrested 5 times during this engagement in politics, including recently last year in July when I was arrested here at night and taken to be detained in another district during the by-elections of Soroti City East. I think that was the last time they arrested me. I think they have kind of been lenient to me for a while now. I'm almost making a year without being arrested. But of course, my senior leaders in the party have been arrested more than hundreds of times. And not because they have committed any crime. So there is a lot that happens here. Government does not allow opposition political parties to freely mobilize and build their network.
You're still watching Julie's Ordeal show, and this garden that you're seeing, this beautiful garden, is Timisha Hotel. Yes, we are at Timisha Hotel, and you can get every drink. There's water, yes, and then there's soda, there's beer, a beautiful garden, fire camping. And I'm still having a one-on-one with Honorable Daniel Eigu. Yes, he's been a politician, he's a dentist as well, and he recently participated in the 2021 elections. He's spoken his ideas, his ideology, what he thinks about in line with politics. But of course, as we come to an end, I just want to know if you had a chance to change anything in the political arena of Uganda, what would that be? What would that be, that special thing that you can think of changing if you were meant to change?
There are quite a number of things that we need to put into consideration in Uganda. One, there are a lot of powers that have been given to the president of the country. The president has powers to appoint everybody up to the district level. He has taken over all the powers of the public service. The president appoints the cow. That is the lowest level here. But the president appoints the referee of elections, the commission of elections. And yet, after appointing the electoral commission, the people who are going to referee, the people who are going to take charge of managing the selection of a leader, he comes to participate. What do you expect a person you have given bread to do when it comes to time of deciding who takes the responsibility of giving the next bread?
So in other words, you're telling me...
That is one.
Yes.
Change. Remove powers of the president in appointing the Electoral Service Commission, the Electoral Commission, and take it back to either Judicial Service Commission or, but preferably, Judicial Service Commission to appoint or interview from within its ranks members who show interest in joining the Commission of Elections, so that the Electoral Commission is neutral or appears to be
neutral.
Oh, yes.
So
now
that majorly would be what you'd change, actually.
That is one.
Yes. I just want 2 of them. That is
just
the
want
one.
2 of them.
I just want to for the purposes of time. The major ones.
Yeah, that is one of the Electoral Commission. The politics of the country should put in place a law that withdraws military or armed forces from participation in political activities, including removing them from parliament. There are 10 soldiers, by the way, who sit in parliament as members of parliament. There should be committees in parliament responsible for welfare of soldiers, which is there. So what's the role of these soldiers? They were brought for intimidation. But that is one of the things that I would withdraw, including their involvement outside parliament of the armed forces, that during campaigns or any political activities, the most involved people are soldiers, police, to come and disperse. Remember, the thing I didn't tell you about my 2021 ordeal was that my home was attacked by UPDF soldiers in the night, 2 days to the polls. My home was attacked, my supporters beaten up. I had to find a way to escape, and I told my wife to lock herself in the house with the children.
She was
so that my
here?
children, yeah, she was here during that time. So that my children don't have to go through this experience of watching as their father is probably being beaten or bundled up to be taken to be detained in some other unknown places. They would have to ask their mother questions, and that would be psychologically bad for them. So those two things. There would be so many others, but because for now we want to stop there.
That is majorly what I wanted, just two, and you've clearly indicated. And after realizing that you've indicated two, it means those are the very ones that are hurting you so much. Okay, as we finalizing on today's edition, I want to know what challenge in life, the major challenge in life that keeps on coming back to your brain, that keeps on hitting you, and secondly, what is your hobby?
Do I have hobbies?
You could be having, every human being has hobbies. Yeah, sure.
Every human being has hobbies.
Yeah.
There are things you like to do.
Yeah.
I like going out with friends, really so much. I like reading. That's for a fact. I read a lot. Even when I was in dental school, my friends would find me reading things totally different from what we are supposed to be reading.
That was difficult to understand.
And they wouldn't understand me. They would probably find me reading business things. Even from high school, I think I never missed newspapers. I needed current affairs so much, like it's part of the food that I should eat. Hanging out, of course, with friends, reading.
Perhaps, is there any traumatizing kind of challenge that still haunts you up to now, at this age?
Yes.
What is that?
In 2014, I lost my daughter. She was shocked by electricity, and she died. We loved each other so much. She was there 3. We loved each other so much. I lost her at a time I didn't expect. That was so painful. It pains me up to today. Whenever I remember her, it pains me. But that is what happened. Also, but you see, at the early age, in 1991, I was still not so mature when we lost our father. But later we realized how important he was in our lives. And today, of course, where I am, I ask myself if Dad was there, of course. I mean, if he was there to see his little boy.
Be who he is now. Yeah.
That opportunity is gone. And so, those moments pain me. I still have my mother. And I'm proud of that. Somehow she sees who I am. A little boy who almost, by the way, died when I was a baby. I almost died. They had given up on me, but somehow I survived by some miracle. And then how I grew up, those struggles and all that, she sees who I am today. Sometimes she's uncomfortable with me being in politics. She thinks I will be killed. And sometimes that bothers her a lot, but I keep giving her assurances that, you see, even without politics, I am going to die. I am going to die. When that time comes, I will die. I don't know when, but it is going to come. For everyone, as long as you're born. The moment you're born, you expect death.
Yeah, sure.
Yes. The moment each person is born, that person is a candidate for death. Because there is the only way you got to answer for your deeds, good deeds and bad deeds on earth, is when you die. Sometimes I have challenged my friends. I say, but if you are so prayerful and you fear death, then you don't know why you are praying. Because you should actually pray to die. Because that is the only way God is going to judge you and put you in an everlasting place in heaven. So if you are praying and you fear death, then you are not praying. You have even sinned by fearing death.
Sure.
And so that we laugh and all that.
And that is a hope, kind of hope that gives your mother too. Like, mothers always have connection with their children.
Oh yeah.
And when you realize that your son is going through a lot, you remember the pain that you've gone through. It really kind of turns you off. That is how life is. The interesting part of it is that we have the challenging and then the happiest moments of life. So what has been that happiest moment of life in yours? Yes, there's time that we cry and then there's time that we laugh and we say, okay, this is the most happiest time of life for me.
Wow. One, my first baby was born.
Your very first child.
Yes. And so I was like, wow, I'm a father.
Oh.
My girlfriend walked out of the house. She told me she wasn't feeling well. Of course, we were expecting.
Yeah.
She had to go to work. And funnily, she didn't feel anything through the night. Then the morning, she was like, I'm feeling, let me first pass by the hospital. And 30 minutes later, she called me, said, you have a baby girl. I said, wow.
Every father's joy.
Wow. So I had to rush to the hospital quickly. I think by 11 we were done with immunization. Then we went home. And you know how you don't want to leave home. Yes, of course you love hanging out with friends, but you don't want to leave home. Each time you want to check your baby, you want to see how the baby is. And yeah, that was joyful.
Was it the child who passed away?
Yes. That is why that pain is there. Unfortunately, 3 years later, she had to go.
It's bad.
Yeah. So that one summarizes the joy and the pain. The most joyous moment and the most painful one.
And we say, may the soul of this little girl rest in eternal peace. I know the pain of losing someone.
Yes.
What was her name?
She was called Daniela Areto, named after my father, was after my mother.
We take a moment and say, may her soul rest in eternal peace. And I pray that you come out of this. It is still in you, and I see it in you. I see that tear has not yet come out. It hasn't. And I just pray that you come out of it. As we come to the end of today's edition of Julie's Ordeal Show, I want you, Honorable Eigu, to look at that camera. I know year in, year out, your children will grow up and see and listen to the words that you've talked today. I want you to give a piece of advice to your child, to any other person out there who is watching this and who will be watching this, and your children and great-grandchildren, because this is going to last forever. Please just share your inspiration moments. Your quotes and your piece.
There should never be a moment that you feel in your heart that you have been defeated. Don't. Even after you have been declared defeated, don't. Do not feel defeated. Do not invite the energy of defeat to yourself. That is the only way you can maintain your determination to succeed in life. That's the only way. The moment you begin to doubt yourself, and the moment you begin to accept defeat, you are gone. And you are gone probably forever. Opportunities come our way. The energy with which you hold the opportunity will determine whether it stays with you or not. The moment you have the energy of doubt in you, you're not going to grab and hold the opportunity so firmly that it can live with you and be in love with you. Because opportunity must live with you at all times. Be determined, be focused. There are rarely miracles in life. People prepare. It is only the prepared that encounter miracles. The moment you sit back and expect that something good is going to happen in your life, well, for others it happens, but it lasts only a night. But that which you focused on and that which came and you grabbed will stay with you and last forever. And even when you are gone, you leave it for your surviving dependents. Don't give up in life. That is one thing and have a commitment and have a determination that everything that you lay your hands on can actually turn out the way you wish.
Okay. What do you want to be remembered for by there? You said death is inevitable.
It is.
What do you want to be remembered for when you're gone?
First, I want the best for everybody. But when I'm gone, I want to be remembered as someone who has championed something that comes to settle a need of people, not of a person, but of people. What am I able to do today that can change lives of people for the better? That is all. That is all my cry, and that's all my dream. So if I am able to do something, however small, that remains behind, and the people, when they are using that to try and solve their problems, to try and actually meet their needs, they remember that once upon a time lived a man called Daniel Eigu. He helped us achieve this. Can I shape them to try to be better people that I leave behind when I'm gone? As for my family, that is all I dream for. That I am going to be able to make my children better people when I'm not here. I don't want to die and my name remains that man's children
Are the worst.
Are the worst in the community. I want them to be reliable, dependable, that somebody should be able to walk into their homes and they get help.
I told you this is the second season, and it was one-on-one with Honorable Daniel Eigu. Don't forget to leave a comment below, and my YouTube channel is Juliet Amusugut. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for subscribing. If you have not yet subscribed, just make it a deal. Subscribe and support the channel to grow bigger and bigger. Yes. Thank you so much, Honorable Eigu, for coming.
Thank you.
I appreciate your resilience, and I pray that you keep going, you keep pushing.
Thank you.
Thank you for turning up for the show.
Thank you.
From me to you, it's a wrap. I love you all, guys. Thank you. Bye.